March 7th, 1944. Dear Audrey Rose, thank you for your letter, sugar. I can't tell you what a difference it makes during mail call to see your handwriting scrawled across one of those pretty flowery envelopes of yours. It changes everything in my day, from the pep in my step to the melody I'm whistling. I guess I'm starting to feel like the ugliness of this war is like one of them old silent horror films. It starts playing from the moment I open my eyes in the morning to the moment I close them again at night. I think the training is finally catching up to me, too. If I'm not climbing some cliff, then I'm hunkered down in a pillbox somewhere, waiting my turn for some drill or other. Sometimes your letters are the only pretty I get to see in an entire week. And boy, are they pretty. All I have to do is open one and smell your perfume on the paper, and I'm transported back to Niagara Falls, or our time together in Maryland, or our wedding day and how fine you looked all dolled up in that dress. I know you said you borrowed it from one of your secretary friends. But sugar, whoever made that get-up only had you in mind. Before I forget, I wanted to tell you I met your little sister and the general the other day. They came down from London together. Brought Ruby's Scottish beau along, too. Captain John Cameron is his name, but everyone calls him Jack, or Crazy Jack if they're feeling real brave. I was glad to meet them all. Ruby looks pretty different than you, doesn't she? All that jet black hair threw me off. I'm guessing she takes after your mama. She's just as sweet and gentle as you said, though. I can see why Jack's dead gone on her. There's a quiet steeliness in her that I wasn't expecting. Must come in handy with her patience. I mean, I fully anticipated the third-degree treatment from the general when I met him, but there was a moment there when my palms started sweating under Ruby's scrutinizing. Geez Louise! Captain Jack's not getting away with any nonsense there, is he? Seems like everything's settled between Ruby and the general as well. Whatever uneasiness he was feeling about her and Jack when you last wrote seems long gone now. Honestly, I thought my odds at having the favorite son-in-law title for at least a little while were pretty good. But Jack and Ruby aren't even married yet, and he and the general are as thick as thieves. How am I supposed to compete with that, Sugar Rose? Only teasing. It was a swell visit, and I feel pretty confident I passed all of the general's tests all right. I went ahead and vetted Jack for you, by the way. Turns out your sister has as good an instinct about men as you do. He's a fine fella as there ever was. Bow, sword, and bagpipe aside, he's a steady man with a love for your sister that's only rivaled by his love for God and country. I'll tell you one thing, though. I'm mighty glad I'll never be one of them Nazis coming up against Crazy Jack. The Nazis are dead scared of him, you know. Rumor has it he can shoot an arrow right through the eye of a moving man from 300 yards away. When I asked him about it, he said he thought it was 350 yards. Then he grinned and winked at Ruby, so who knows what's true. Speaking of captains, thank you for telling me what you learned about Captain Fairbanks and my father. What a story, huh? It's given me quite a bit to think about since I read it. I'll be honest, Sugar. It took me a few days to swallow down my initial reaction to blame him for my father being absent my whole life. But I couldn't help remembering something you said in your first letter to me last July. That sometimes the deepest scars of war aren't found in the soldiers, but in the ones they leave behind. Ever since, I've been taking a close look at my life and how blessed it's been despite my father not being there. I've got Ma, Aunt Jane, Uncle Frank, and now, best of all, you. War sure helps a fella see clearly what's most important in life. Holding on to the past definitely isn't it. You were also right about trying to give old Fairbanks some sort of peace after all this time. I finally went and talked to him a few days after your letter came. Turns out following your advice is a real good habit to get into. Fairbanks became a completely different man right there in front of me. He's been as cool as a cucumber since the very beginning, never giving us an inch of leeway in training, never cutting us any slack or joining in on any of our gags to ease the pressure a bit. But when I confronted him about my father, all that BTO facade slipped away, and I found myself face to face with about the humblest, most genuine fella I ever met. We talked for at least an hour about my father. He told me what he remembered about him from the Great War, said they were rivals, but for his part, it was only because Hank Burke was the bravest man he'd ever met, and he wanted to be just like him. It turns out you were right about another thing, too. Fairbanks said he was sorry he'd been busting my chops all these months. But when he learned who I was, he knew he had to be extra hard on me. He said he knew I'd be able to take it on account of being Hank Burke's son. Then he said he knew if he didn't do everything within his power to ensure Hank Burke's son survived this war, he'd regret it as much as he regretted my father not surviving the last one. Before I left him, I made sure he knew that neither I nor my mother blamed him for my father's death. He shook my hand then and told me he was grateful but still awful sorry I had to grow up without him. That since I didn't have the chance to know Hank Burke personally, I'd never know just how sorry. Then he told me if there was ever anything he could do for me to just say the word. I thanked him and left. A few days later, me and Freddie Farnsby had some leave time, so we were in the village pub getting some chow. Freddie's real social and likes to make his way around a room, so I was sitting alone in my corner waiting for my food and thinking of you, when I pulled out some paper and started to sketch some ideas for that house I'm going to build you. Fairbanks strolled into the pub around then and stopped by my table. He noticed what I was doing and asked if I wanted some company. I told him to take a seat. After he ordered, he asked if he could see my sketches. When I showed them to him, he told me that his own father was a builder. Said he could show me a few things if I liked. By the time Freddie finished making his rounds, Fairbanks had helped me sketch the beginnings of the drawing I'm sending along with this letter. I left plenty of room in the yard for you to plant all your favorite flowers. Peonies, tulips, hydrangeas, roses, all kinds of them anywhere and everywhere you like, especially the climbing ones on either side of the house. Fairbanks said we could even save a bit of money by laying a walk up to the porch with stones we gather around our property, rather than one made out of brick or cement. I like the look of the stone, but it's your call, Sugar Rose. The only arrangement concerning our future home that I have a firm opinion on is whether or not you're in it. Write and tell me what you think. Tell me if this is the house you were describing to me back at Niagara. What do you think, Sugar? Will it do? There's even a picket fence in that spot for a transom we talked about. The one above the door for your turtle doves. Fairbanks said he'd be happy to help me sketch out a blueprint over my next few leave days. That way I'll have something to work from when I come home. Turns out Fairbanks is actually the genuine article underneath it all. I'd never have known that if it weren't for your encouraging me to give the old man a fair chance. I'm a real lucky fella to have you as my wife, Audrey Rose. Even your advice makes my life better. Speaking of advice, your daddy pulled me aside while he was here and asked me to give you some. He couldn't give me any particulars, just said you were about to do something real dangerous. He asked me to write and ask you to reconsider. I'm guessing it has something to do with the work General Stokes has you doing. Now, before you get your back up with me, I respect your father more than just about any man I know. You know I do. However, one of the reasons I respect him so much is because he raised you to be who you are. An independent thinking, wise, brave, and brilliant woman ahead of her time. You don't need me to advise you on what to do where Stokes is concerned. I trust your judgment in this, and I believe in you, Audrey Rose. I know the General is only interfering because he loves you so much, and I can definitely sympathize with his need to protect you. I can't fault him for that when I'm wrestling with the very same instincts myself. The way I see it, though, if whatever Stokes is asking you to do is that dangerous, it's probably pretty important, too. All I want you to know is I'll be praying for your success and safety every moment. That's all. I won't say any more, Sugar Rose, except that I adore you. With any luck, I'll get to hold you close in my dreams tonight. Yours forever, Charlie.